Hey everybody, welcome to Beyond the Blueprint with Matt. Today's episode is special because I think that there's a lot of people out there that are kind of lost, especially if they are starting a new career. I had an interesting conversation with one of my friends the other night who is working for a company and just kind of searching different ideas how to get leads, because obviously with what's going on in the world and the market, with inflation and the cost of goods, things are getting more expensive. So there's a lot less people out there that are trying to do home remodeling and things with their homes. So we just had a great conversation around that in different ways that you can create relationships. So we'll call it creating the circle. So if you're out there and maybe in a sales position or looking to other ways to grow a business or create relationships, this is the right episode for you. This is Matt with Beyond the Blueprint. So what I want to talk about today is how to create relationships. So when I first started doing mortgages, that was one of my key things that I had to do, because there's a bazillion ways to find a mortgage person. And one of the biggest things that I took from where I'm at today, and if I look back and reflect back to 4 or 5 years ago, is the steps that I took to do it. And I failed a lot of times, right? And that goes into the resilience part of things and not having a fixed mindset. So I was totally in the growth mode, as we talked before on different episodes. And I remember I was looking at different avenues on how to do this, and I was not given really any direction. I had to figure out what that direction was, and to make sure, that direction was leading myself to the right place, which now I teach this to other people. So, social media is a very, very powerful tool. Yes, a lot of people use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and those other avenues to, share their lives, but it's also another great resource if you are in a sales position or an owner of a company, because you have the ability to reach millions of people. Well, let's not go that far. I mean, that takes a lot of time, but you could reach a larger amount of people by just posting information. So the conversation I had, it's a good friend of mine, Sal. Sal, thank you for the idea. We had a conversation. So he's an entrepreneur, does floor hockey out in the Seattle market, but travels throughout the United States for tournaments and stuff like that. And it's just really cool what he's been able to build, and really coming from nothing to, having schools reach out to him and his business partner to help the kids with, athletics. And my son, he also plays roller hockey, just because the ice rink is far away and it wouldn't work out. But it's a lot of fun, and these kids, they learn to develop skill sets they wouldn't get if they weren't doing any kind of sports. And this goes for baseball, soccer, football, lacrosse, and all the different ones out there, or extracurricular activities, such as band and music and stuff like that. So it's really cool that he was able to build a foundation where now schools are reaching out to him and saying, hey, listen, we want to get you in our program after school. And it brings the kids together, and the parents are raving about it. And I just love the idea. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And we had a conversation, the other night about, building organic growth in a business. So, being a salesperson for flooring in a house. And I said, doing cold calling because that's what the company tells you to do. And he agreed. It's silly. It's not even worth it, because we all know, like, when our phones ring and we don't know the number, typically we don't answer it. Number two, they usually don't leave messages, but then when you do answer, it's like, hi, this is Jennifer, and you're like, hang up the phone, unless you're really, really looking for something that they're trying to sell you, like, you're not going to go forward with it because it's a cold call. And cold calls, I just think, are very ineffective. Very, very, very ineffective. So our conversation, kind of went from, all right, things not to do, or even if you're being told to do it, and going beyond the blueprint. So what are other things that you could do? And I was just thinking, wow, this is perfect, because in my industry, doing mortgages and being in the real estate industry, is that I have clients I talk to every single day, like, oh, I want to change the painting. I want to change the walls. I want to get rid of the tile that's cracked and put floors in. So I said, why don't you reach out to local people in your area and let them know what you do, and, have some pictures and a little story behind it, And then once you build relationships with these realtors, inspectors, title companies, everybody in the real estate world, because those realtors are the ones that are Vanna Whiting the houses and being like, hey, let's point out the floors or the walls or popcorn ceiling, whatever there might be. And then if you build those relationships with those people, you're going to be their referral source. And just like for me in my industry, like I had to build relationships with realtors, and thank you all. I mean, it's I'm so blessed, and I love it that, we have those connections where you can pick up the phone and call me and vice versa, and we could have a conversation about anything. And I think that's really, really important because those go hand in hand. It's about creating a circle, right? So you want to create a circle, obviously friends, family in the middle, and then build that circle up. And by building that circle up is that you're going to have, a connection with all these people. And then once you start getting sales or whatever it might be, is then you create a referral program. And, my clients, at least for myself, a lot of them are repeats. Like sometimes we're on our 4th, 5th mortgage. And it's because they trust you. They like working with you, and you're not just building another transaction, you're building a relationship. And then, a lot of my clients, they tell their friends and family, hey, talk to Matt, blah, 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 whatever it might be. And by doing that, you are letting the process work for you. You're not working for the process. That's the message out there. And I think it's really, really important that if you don't know where to start, you could go back to different podcasts that I've laid out there, is that you got to start overcoming fear. You got to have a growth mindset. You got to be able to deal with resilience and being able to take a step backwards to go 2 steps forwards, because anybody that's successful in any industry, this is what they've gone through. This is what they've gone through. And if you're able to overcome those things, and I'm looking at you, you're going to be able to do anything that you want to do. Remember, doubt is the biggest implosion, right? Doubt of success or your goals. Okay? It's not fear, but it's having doubt. You can't have doubt in yourself. And you got to really just be strong, and you got to connect with people. Being able to pick up the phone and call somebody and ask for advice is a huge step. It's a huge step for anybody. I do it all the time. And by doing that, you learn more. And I always say, the knowledge is so powerful. It's so powerful in doing different things, such as, having tasks and being organized and being able to do things good for your body and for your soul and people around you. And like, that's what you got to start looking at, is how can you take these things to the next level? But also you got to be able to create your circle, because people without a circle, you're kind of just scattered all over the place, like finding where's Waldo. Okay. You should have a bunch of Waldos all together. And I just think that there's a lot of people out there that just don't know where to go or where to start or what to do. And I think the first step is you got to just start thinking ahead and having a game plan, like game plan what your next steps are. When I first started doing this podcast, I had really no clue where it was going to go. And now we're starting to branch off on different things. I had somebody reach out to me this morning who has a really cool story. And, it's not about real estate. It's about how you're just not another statistic, and how you can take things that you learn across the way to grow companies and build companies and do different things. And I think that's the power, is that a lot of us, sometimes we get so buried in, you're supposed to do it this way, and this is what I'm being told to do from my manager or my boss or my leader or whoever it might be. And you're not using your brain to be creative in your own way. So you're just kind of following directions, right? When you use your brain and you start thinking like, okay, I could do this and try it out and see how it works. And it's almost doing like a test result, like test A, test B, and see which one passes. And you got to just see, going through trial and error, which one is going to get you to that right area. And if you're someone out there today who is struggling with maybe building a new foundation, or how to accelerate in your career or in your life, then I really, really highly recommend you to just take some time and read books and podcasts and audio things. I mean, I could sit here and try to make this into a commercial. That's not who I am, right? I'm talking from my heart and talking from my brain and talking from experiences that I've had to be able to share with you, because it might be able to connect with somebody. And if you're able to connect with somebody and be able to ping off it, then you're only going to make yourself that much stronger. So as the world turns, I want to just say that you got to be prepared. You got to use technology. You got to be innovative. You got to have passion, and you got to be ready for anything that comes your way. Because when you're ready and you have a game plan, nobody is ever going to over-trump you. So hopefully you guys got a little message here. I just wanted to share it. It's Friday before the holidays. I know the holidays are coming up. Really excited about that. I'm sure a lot of people are going to do some turkeys, get some hams, have friends and family over. And it's a really, really important time to just relax and just be really thankful for what you have. And I know I certainly am. And, I love my family more than anything, and the extended family. But it's really a time for you to just sit back, be thankful, and just start thinking about your next steps. As we go into the holiday season, the year is almost over, and I'm going to leave it with this. If you haven't started game planning yet for 2024, it's almost too late, because right now you should be starting the process as far as what you're going to be doing, because it's going to be here in about 45 days. So I'm going to leave it with this. If you are a follower, please, if you can, just shoot me a comment, a message, share with others, and I appreciate everybody that's doing that. I do want to, I have a bunch of Yeti cups. They do say Premier Mortgage, obviously that's where I work, but I want to hand them out. So if you could leave a nice review on Apple Podcasts or anywheres, it doesn't have to be 5 stars, just honest. And you send me a screenshot, you could text it to me, or you could email it to me at matt@pmcnow.com. I want to send you them. I got a bunch of them. I want to get them out there. And if you haven't, make sure you like and follow if you can, please. It's really hard for some reason. You know what? Before we end this, so I'm trying to really learn algorithms, and I think it's really, really complicated. It's almost like taking college algebra. So I'm trying to understand, I could post the dumbest thing ever on Facebook and there's 8,000 impressions, but then I post something that I believe has meaning or something, powerful, it gets nothing. And I'm just trying to learn the algorithms. It's really complicated, but I'm starting to learn different things. And ChatGPT was the thing I was using, but then I learned from a friend of mine who is certified in ChatGPT that it's just a tool to give you kind of we'll call it a timeline or a time frame or an agenda, and not to just copy and paste. So if you're a copy and paster of ChatGPT and you're not getting views or hits like I was at sometimes, that's why. Just throwing it out there, something I learned, just a golden nugget to share. But if you can, subscribe, leave comments. These podcasts, a lot of them I'm getting is from feedback from you. And for those, I really, really appreciate it. And I think that means more than anything, because I could come up with ideas all day long. But when I come up with ideas, they're just ideas in my brain and they're not in your brain. And your brain is very powerful, and I want to hear more about it. So again, thank you and happy holidays, everybody. We'll get back on air after the holidays, but I just want to throw it out there, and God bless everybody. And if you need anything at all, just feel free to reach out. My name is Matt Sochi, and this is Beyond the Blueprint.